He had two mothers, one who gave him life, the other who loved him, but only one truly wanted him. Louis lives a simple, measured life in a cozy French town. He has everything he needs to be happy: a caring home, stability, and his adoptive mother, Adrienne, who surrounds him with endless warmth. However, at one point, this entire idyll collapses under the weight of the revealed truth. Upon learning of his adoption, the 16-year-old feels the ground shift from beneath his feet. His identity suddenly seems incomplete, as if a complex puzzle is missing the most important piece. Who is he really? Whose blood flows through his veins? And the most tormenting question, which begins to consume him from within: why was he abandoned? This emotional emptiness drives Louis to search for his biological mother, hoping to find answers that will numb his inner pain. Driven by a thirst for truth, Louis finds it very close. It turns out that a woman named Solange has been living nearby all this time, running a modest flower shop. She changed her name and tried to erase everything that connected her to a past full of tragedies and unbearable regrets. When Louis finally decides to meet her, instead of the warmth and remorse he expected, he encounters icy rejection. Solange doesn't throw herself on his neck, doesn't cry with joy, and doesn't even invite him in. She acts distant and awkward, her whole demeanor making it clear she's not ready to open up this buried chapter of her life. For her, he's a living reminder of the pain she's been running from for years. But Louis, against his better judgment, refuses to back down, because for him, this is no longer just curiosity, but a vital need to connect with his origins. Unable to reach his mother directly, Louis opts for a quiet presence. He checks into a small hotel with a window overlooking her flower shop. He spends hours observing her daily routine, trying to discern something familiar, something personal in her gestures and movements. In this self-imposed confinement, he meets Clementine, a young hotel employee. She notices his profound loneliness and silent pain, becoming his only support in this moment of crisis. Clementine doesn't ask unnecessary questions. She simply stands by his side, listening to his silence and trying to warm his soul. Their connection gradually develops into something more, and one night they cross the line, sharing intimacy. For Louis, this becomes a moment of realization. Searching for maternal love, he unexpectedly finds comfort and adult intimacy where he least expected it. The situation escalates when Adrienne, his adoptive mother, arrives in town. She is the complete opposite of the cold Solange. Adrienne raised him, invested her entire life in him, and never asked for anything in return. Now Louis finds himself caught between two poles: the woman who gave him life and the woman who gave him meaning. On his birthday, a quiet but incredibly powerful scene unfolds: the meeting of the two mothers. There are no loud shouts or theatrical accusations, only heavy glances and the recognition of a shared drama. Louis sees Adrienne off to the train station, and in that moment, the audience physically feels the weight of his choice. This is not a betrayal of one for the other, but the agonizing confusion of a man trying to reconcile two incompatible truths within himself. Gradually, the ice in Solange's heart begins to melt. Perhaps she realizes that it's impossible to escape the past forever, or perhaps she sees how desperately Louis needs her acceptance. She begins to slowly, almost imperceptibly, accept his presence in her life. The film's ending is devoid of Hollywood pathos. We see Louis and Solange walking shoulder to shoulder along the seashore. There are no grandiose words of forgiveness, no instant healing of wounds. This film is not about finding an ideal family, but about the painful search for one's own identity. It teaches us that the person who gave birth is not always capable of love, and acceptance comes as slowly as the waves of the sea reaching the shore. Real life doesn't always give us beautiful endings, but it does give us the opportunity to see those who were there all along and truly loved us. Louis finds more than just his biological mother. He discovers a harsh truth about the nature of love. Love isn't always warm and cozy. Sometimes it manifests itself in sacrifice, bitter regret, or even cold silence. Forgiveness isn't an attempt to forget old grievances, but rather the ability to learn to live with them, accepting people as they are, with all their scars and weaknesses. If you found yourself in this situation, would you seek out someone who persistently pushes you away, or would you stay with someone who never lets go? We can't choose our origins, but we can choose who we consider our true family. If this story touches your heart, support it with your attention. Some films don't just pass before your eyes, they remain in your hearts, forcing us to rethink our own values and attachments.